let them dictate the pace of this game, especially not when the Elevate is on the defensive side. And they're going to do the same thing 3 rounds in a row. Finka off the board, you mentioned it, Parker, target ban, and it's really been working out for them, to be honest. I like this.
It absolutely has. It's knocked the Soniqs off their stride. The Soniqs on attack only mustering up a single win on Villa. They went 1-5. On Clubhouse, much more even, 3-3. And on Clubhouse, a map that historically is very good for the defense, but Soniqs and a lot of other teams here proving that they can play quite well on attack. A 3-3 scoreline might not be what you're looking for on Clubhouse as an attacker. You might want a little bit more than that. How much does Finka throw them off when it comes to Oregon? Well, teams love their LMGs here on Oregon, whether it be a Zofia with the LMG, whether it be a Capitao with the LMG, and we see Capitao on Oregon. Especially if you're going to take Laundry, you want to use those smokes off in the closet. You want to use it off where the hallway that leads to Freezer is, so that you can walk in and force the defenders to either pick uncertainty through the smoke or falling back and playing safer angles while conceding parts of the bomb site. That said, Elevate will spend their third map on defense in a row. They got those first bans, joining the Finka as a Jackal, Valkyrie, and Wamai. We've already spoken about Wamai's impact. On a map like this, especially if you're defending downstairs, you're going to see a lot of Jaeger and a Rooney, Elevator running both of them. And guess what the Soniqs like to do on this map? They love running a single hard breach or a secondary hard breach, in the sense that an operator is going to have access to those hard breach gadgets. And I have no doubt that Super is going to be bringing 2 of the can openers, which is displayed at the top right of your screen.
He will. It's guaranteed, confirmed. We've seen this before. So last time Soniqs played the map, it was Super who was playing between Ying and Buck. And no matter what operator of those two he was playing, he always had the secondary hard breach gadget, the can opener, as we call it. And that allows you to attack very, very fluid on Oregon. You can get the hatches, if it's a basement attack, you can get the closet walls, etc. If it's a top floor attack of kitchen, or of kit storms rather. And the operator itself, the Ying, that speaks to the execution that Soniqs love to play around. The Buck, again, it speaks to the dynamic flexibility nature of the Buck. You can now do stuff vertically. And Super, in a rare case, is actually a semi-entry on Oregon, because you have an operator that you need to do stuff with on the front. And sure, he doesn't run in first, but he's enabling his team to do so, not by droning, but by providing the gadget and basically starting the execute. And with the Jackal ban coming out, that's a target ban for Soniqs. I'm curious if they're going to be roaming heavily against Elevate once they get there. But first we have Soniqs attacking 6 rounds in a row. Rexon droning up above, Kansan taking small tower. Making our way through the map, Elevate not contesting really. It's going to be pretty free real estate as Grix are now taking big tower. Soniqs very isolated, but that's okay because there is no danger. Isolation means that you can drone out faster, but I mean sometimes when you're alone, you die. Sapper, opening kill onto Kansan. I'm not sure if he walked down the staircase or exactly what happened there, but either way, he has a single point of health on the smoke. And in fact, it was that Freezer stairs contestation, so yeah. Being 1 health on smoke is, well, you're alive, your gadgets still exist, but it's going to be very hard to challenge any gunfights now with the SMG-11 and the shotgun. A single bullet, or in fact a quarter of a bullet, will take you out. No Thunderbird, no Doc, no healing.
Thunderbird is an operator that pops up on Laundry Supply Room defenses, but you need to find where in that lineup you want it to go, right? Because you're going to need some kind of gadget denial, a Kaid, maybe a mute, etc. A lot of teams like to run with that, and then you're going to need at least 1 denial operator. A lot of teams like 2, Wamai, Jaeger, or a Rooney. You need to pick 2 of those. A smoke is almost always a requirement for this bomb site. That leaves you with only 1 option, and your flex pick is a Mira this round in the hands of Nirix.
I mean, it's not a bad operator.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm just saying.
No, you're right. You're pretty locked in, right? 4 operators are a must-have. 1 operator is not a must-have. And the Mira is great in this situation. Sure, you got the mute to follow up as well, really making sure that nobody can breach them. But joke's on you, Soniqs, they don't play Hibana, they don't play the Ace, they just have the can opener and the Maverick. So these Mira windows will be a challenge. They do have flashbangs, they have 1 smoke, they have 2 grenades, they have the Yink and Dela gadget. They have every single possibility of breaking apart the defense, and they have to do so from Freezer and Laundry and back. They're going to be attacking from all 3 fronts, and it's going to be happening right now.
Very quickly, there go the smokes, but a smoke of his own is Sapper, still on 1 HP, getting very aggressive. Onigiri with 1 kill. Look at Sapper on the ground, but he doesn't see them. He looks in the wrong direction. A second kill before Rexon silences him. Super's been down, so it's Rexon in a 1v2. There goes Nay, a 1v1, as DCH is also down. They're just bleeding out on the floor. Onigiri in such low HP. There he goes with the final kill, 10 seconds. And Rexon capitalizes and an ace to start map 3. Richie, my boy, take them all.
What is happening? We're picking right back up where we left off on the previous map of Clubhouse. Rexon activated, Grixer activated, Super, they're all activated. But that round in particular, it was Rexon who did it all. He got every single kill, he found every single pick, and in the 1v1, very unfortunately for Elevate, you chose to run away. You turned your back against the last remaining attacker, and you died absolutely for free. 5-0 for Rexon, hitting every single shot. Onigiri and Sapper got 2 each. Sapper hiding that smoke with 1 health, got really good value considering what was left of him, but that wasn't enough. Only 1 kill, should have gotten both. In fact, if you can choose in that situation, Sapper, going back in time, do you shoot Rexon or do you shoot Yeti? Well, knowing what happened now in hindsight, if we go back in time and you shoot Rexon instead, that entire round could be played out differently. I'm not sure if Yeti could have done that. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but Rexon on the F2 is an absolute animal. Oh boy. That's the first one off the board. Fast start, quick start, incredibly electric round, if you will. Energetic, fast-paced, everything. Going now up to Kid Storms instead. It's going to be a similar situation where Elevate, they're playing utility, they're bringing shields, they're bringing a Rooney, and she has really seen a surge in play rate, which you touched a little bit upon at the end of Clubhouse. Both teams now bringing her. And again, it makes good sense on Oregon. It is a map where you have a couple of ways into the bomb site, got a couple of doors, a couple of windows, really only 1 breach, right? And DCH doing the same thing as before, sitting somewhere off the bomb site and trying to get sneaky. Has a small punch in that barricade for a small angle into spawn, but nobody challenges, nobody sees it, nobody knows, nobody's the wiser. Grixer sneaking himself almost into sight, doesn't go all the way through. There isn't really get to stop him, but gets in a completely free kill onto Onigiri, and he was basically in trophy in 25 seconds.
Very fast for the Nook to get up there, and we've seen what Grixer can accomplish on this particular operator and the way that it's played role-wise on the team. We saw it on Villa
Rat.
way back in the day. It is a rat operator, and we don't say that to disparage Grixer. It's actually quite a compliment. When somebody calls you a rat, it's because you're usually effective.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not doing anything useful, that's just you baiting your team in a corner. If you're a rat, you're getting a lot of value, and you're annoying, you're frustrating. It's like, oh, this guy's going to be in this corner again, and when I walk by him, well, I have to check it. I have to join. I have to feel the fact that his presence on the map could be anywhere. That's the Nook. That's Grixer right now. They did it 1 round on Villa. It worked out really, really well, and now in the 2nd round, they're doing it again on Oregon.
First pick in the previous round went to Elevate. It didn't really matter because, well, Rexon decided to kill everybody.
True.
I wanted to see Rexon. Just blow her a kiss, Rexon. Just right at the camera, just after you get that ace. Just do it, but he doesn't do it.
Do it for her.
Do it for her, Rexon. Anyway, he's in a position to maybe get some more kills. F2 in hand. We talked about this Finka being off the board and how that forces the Soniqs to play. Nice shot by Nerix, expecting Grixer inside of security. But Nerix is the one that's on the beat. The patrol does not work out in favor of the Soniqs, at least an answer back.
You can almost argue that Soniqs droning for the Nook doesn't really make a lot of sense because Nook is a stealthy operator and the drone kind of gives away that something might be happening. Again, we're not like 50-50, it may happen, it may not, but either way, Grixer off the board. Now 4 versus 4. Nades come out from Yeti on this big window, and Super looking to get active with this Yin Candela.
There's a grenade that goes in on a DCH. We saw it get hucked in, and a second will follow up. That expends the nades for Yeti. Still the player of Elevate down below of Nerix inside of security, isolated by Super. Yeti has the diffuser, so you can keep waiting. As long as the Mozzie's off site, that leaves just Sapper to try and hold down this dorm's bomb site. Nerix pressured from Super, and Nitro Sokozavi kills himself. That's not exactly what you want, Nyrix. Not at all. 1 HP for Sapper now in the middle of dorms, and he's finished off by Super on the stairs. SQ very quick on these two attacking rounds, looking way more comfortable than at any point on the previous two maps, and they're up 2-0.
I was fearing ELV kind of running out of steam because it has been, I'm not going to say like a very long series, but it's been a relatively long series going max OT on that previous map of Oregon, and it's going to be a long, of Clubhouse, and it's going to be a long Oregon as well if you don't start picking up rounds, because to get the W, you gotta go all the way up and catch up, play the comeback, you're on defense. You should be getting at least a couple of rounds here, right? We're gonna go back downstairs, we're gonna 6-pick the mirror once again, similar fashion of that first round, and Super sticking his guts on the Ying. It's been working so well for them so far, and I wouldn't say Super has been like the defining player, nor playing the most defining operator of Ying so far. I mean, it was a Rexon getting an ace the first round, and that second round, Super was down below, basically fighting Nyrix or blinding Nyrix inside of servers, barely even fighting him. So the Ying hasn't been like the defining factor. They haven't been playing around that with a massive need, but it is an option for them. And of course, if you elevate, you have to respect it. Right now, they're not necessarily respecting that because there is no Warden being brought up. Or Maya spent. You only got the Jaeger. And the thing is, when you got Super, a support player who's not known for the best gunplay on an operator that can really impact the round such as Ying, then you have Rexon, Yeti, Kansen, and Grixer on your side. All phenomenal aimers. Sapper, DCH, Onigiri, Nyrix, Ney. None of those players are bad. They've all shown exceptional gun skill throughout Invitationals, but right now in Oregon, they're falling a little bit short. It's actually your support anchor of Sapper with the most kills and the only player to find the opening pick, or sorry, the second player to find the opening pick, as Nyrix found one previously. So we gotta see DCH, we gotta see Nyrix, gotta see Ney back in action, but Grixer doing the same thing again. 15 seconds into the round, walks down the tower stairs, gets another absolute free pick, and honestly, if I remember correctly, it was Onigiri both times.
It absolutely was, and Onigiri had some issues back in Villa and at the starter clubhouse as well, as you talked about, being the first player on his team to fall in too many rounds. Onigiri's a standout performer, but I think that most of the contributions and points he's putting up in the round are quite quietly done. And I know that if you watch traditional sports, you get tired, so endlessly tired about so-and-so's quietly having the best season of their career. No, I mean, in this particular instance, Onigiri has not made a lot of waves, has not been a flashy player, but has been a rock for this team in this matchup, and is really allowing the rest of the team to flourish. Dying early on is not the right side of where you want to be. So that's about the first half of round number 3. Grixer and on this Nook can get in, do a ton of damage, get out very cleanly. Buy your team some time and breathing room, and then when the execute happens, you gotta find a little area where they're not watching. Maybe bottom of those laundry stairs if your execute is happening towards E-Box and towards Freezer.
Yeah, Soniqs very clearly playing for the opening kill man advantage, and I always say Oregon is it really favors having more players alive, specifically because there are so few injuries for the attackers. The more guns you can have facing the same direction, the better off you are. Soniqs, previously on basement, it was a 2-people freezer, 2-people laundry attack. That's all that happened. This time with 5 versus 4, you can do even more damage. You got the Ying, you got Grixer on the Nook. You can be sneaking while being chaotic at the exact same time.
Grixer's on the back stairs. He's not really connected to the push because most of the Soniqs players are looking over towards Freezer, where so much of the emphasis from those Flores drones have gone. They cleared out some of the wall. They opened up the Goyo shield, and now they've taken out the ADS to boot. Nades can get tossed down quite easily. There's a drone on the hatch, and they know that the smoke is playing by the Freezer door, so that's at least one player of the remaining 4 from Elevate that they know the exact spot of. Another as well inside of the back closet. And Rexon with 6 kills and not a single death. His position will be given away by that proximity alarm. Sapper on the ground. He's there to greet them. They have not cleared him out. He's good enough for 1 kill, traded back, but the Soniqs continue their advantage. Steam rolling into the bomb site. Kansen is now down. The diffuser from Super in hand getting planted. It's all incumbent upon Elevate to stop this. Ney getting calls, and he needs to swing in, as does Nyrix. There it goes. Super is off it, and it's a last-second clutch from Elevate to give them their very first round.
Absolutely. I mean, what happened there essentially is that both the players from Soniqs inside of Freezer both were injured. That means you only really have manpower on the laundry stairs. That's not enough because you want to be coming from at least 2 angles, 3 if possible. Otherwise, as I talked about earlier, right before they execute, as a defender, you're just going to have so many weapons watching the exact same doorway. You have the manpower, and that's what happened. Super was overpowered, trying to plant, realized he couldn't, came off it, but had to fight 2 players at the exact same time, and that's not going to bode well for you. Good clutch by ELV to claw back the round, what looked to be greatly going in favor of Soniqs. That means we're now 2-1 in scoreline, still on Soniqs' side. It's still their map to win so far. Elevate needs to show more, and they're going to be doing that in the Meeting Kitchen bomb site. Still not a lot of dining being played in these series. Meeting has been the preference for most teams. It's been played the most. Decent win rate, if I recall correctly. I can check the stats in just a moment, but it's been played out a couple of ways. Elevate, they like to play it where on the stage wall, they have one wall reinforced and wall open. They actually had a rotate, but they changed their mind. They have now reinforced both walls instead, going for a more passive approach. Jammer will be covering it. That means Yeti has to get there or Attrition will have to do the work. Opposite in stairs and attic, however, there is the rotate. So now I am wondering, is Elevate going to be playing inside a big tower tier 3? Or are they just making that rotate to say, you know what, attackers, welcome, come on in, walk through this rotate for me because I made it for you. Which seems kind of odd because normally you'd want to reinforce those walls, but in this case, different approach.
Well, it's a meeting defense now for Elevate. They've tried dorms upstairs. They didn't like it. They tried laundry twice. They finally win it. At site is locked for at least 2 more rounds. Laundry will once again emerge in round number 6, and Elevate could potentially close out the first half, but they've got some ground to make up. The Soniqs, after they won round 1, finally took the lead in the series. As we talked about for the first 2 maps, the Soniqs at no point have led. They still didn't lead. They might have won map 2, but they still didn't have an actual lead to their name. It took almost 2.5 hours after the start of this matchup for the Soniqs to gain a lead on Elevate. I'd like to again just tell you, because that is a fantastically long period of time.
It is, and I mean, if you Elevate, you got the attic rotate, and you know, Soniqs are not attacking big tower at all. It's going to be a master side, big window kind of take. If you're Soniqs, you want to clear off the top floor so you can start doing vertical play. You do not have a sledge, you do not have a box, so once you gain the ground, it'll be Kansen on these Retero drones that'll do the job, if anything. Yeti looking to get in, holding an angle, waiting for Elevate to make the first move. You got both walls inside of Kid Storms reinforced, but that's where it's nice being a Maverick, because you can just make work with the torch. DCH has to fight a lot of players at the same time. So far, no engagement. We're still waiting around. No breach has been going out, but DCH drops down. He says, you know what? It's fine. Minute and 15 to go. You can have top floor. You have limited verticality. It'll all be down to Kansen. Sophia, she does have breaching charges too, so she can help along. And Soniqs, they have to decide what are they going to do. We're waiting. We're standing still. We're droning. They do not know that DCH dropped that hatch into sight. We're going to be seeing, once they figure it out, what's the next step. Here we go. Verticality. Drones coming out. That's going to do damage. Opening up the floor and giving you lines of sight. It's going to be a kitchen focus. They want to get down there. They want to plant. There is a member of Elevate hiding, I believe, inside a small tower. I believe it's Ney. So he's sitting all the way across the map. There he is. So he can be a defining factor and maybe be a thorn in the side of Soniqs.
I wonder if Soniqs was not expecting a meeting tick because they didn't bring a sledge or a buck, and we know that Super likes to play buck here. He's going to stay on that Ying with the Candelas, but you desperately need to take the floor apart over the B bomb site. There go the Candelas, by the way. Super wants to drop. There's nobody down on the bomb site right now. There goes Onigiri. Very first pick comes with 15 seconds left in the round, and the fragging will continue for the foreseeable future. It's Nerix to get in on the fight, as well as DCH. Diffuser in hand, but nobody sees Ney as he breaks into the bomb site. Pistol out amidst the smoke. Yet he falls off. He's as good as done, and Grixer will not be able to clutch. He's got a goo mine in his foot. Slowed down. Elevate finds their second second round in a row.
That was Nate. He chose to hide inside a small tower for a minute and a half straight, did not move a muscle. You might be wondering, is that worth it? Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you helping your team? But the thing is, Nate was playing for the long game. He knew that once the execute came out from Soniqs, that then he could make his move. If you're playing inside a dining or shower hallway or server or bottom white stairs in that area, well, Soniqs is likely to drone it. That means they know you are there. When Soniqs droned out dining, it seemed free. Nobody was even nearby. No sounds, no audio, no visuals. It's clear. So they're gonna throw out their smoke grenades. They're gonna yank into the little bomb site. They're gonna drop down. But then Nay, his part now comes in. He makes his way through small tower, into dining, into kitchen, gets the flank, denies a player, hides in the smoke, secures the bomb site and the diffuser case, and eventually Elevate, they win the round. They were terror drones, the Sophia breaching charges, did a good job on the verticality, and honestly, they did a good enough job to kind of be supplementing that of a sledge or a bug. It was alright, sure, you could do a little bit more, but they got what they wanted, and arguably, they got what they needed. It was just Nay doing Nay things. That one kill he has on the board, bottom left of your screen, is a massively impactful kill, arguably speaking to most of a round victory. So good job, Nay. Keep it up, buddy. C4 in hand, Nerix with that bulletproof camera. No Dokubi on the board because Soniqs do not play that operator. That means the cameras, they will belong to who chose to play them. That means the defense, they have the advantage as they have more information than the attackers in terms of utility. But of course, we all know attackers, they start with 10 drones, and right now Soniqs, they've managed to make 4 survive. I mean, they have 9 total currently on the board.
Well, we talked about back and forth on Clubhouse, and it's still back and forth now, but instead of it being 1 round, it's 2, Nick. So, Soniqs, what are you going to do to get back up there? Good value from the Twitch drone of Rexen. Started things off with an ace, by the way, if you didn't tune in at the beginning. It was a hell of a performance. Just commandeer, bomb site, and then pinch everybody in the process. Another Dorms attempt by Elevate, unsuccessful the very first time. That was one of the 2 rounds that Soniqs took to start off this map. They've led for 3 rounds, and now they've tied it up, or they lost it as Elevate tied it up back in round number 4. Nay is in a rat angle. We talk about this an awful lot. Super's position has been given away. Nay still knows that there's somebody there, and on to drones he'll go. Nay certainly heard this. You have to be wary that nobody's in this position. Super obviously frustrated with that one. I can only imagine how much of a tilter that is. Elevate the very first pick. Super down for the count, but he doesn't hold the diffuser, so that's at least good for the Soniqs. You have lost the Candelas and the hard breach gadget, though, and that is particularly bad.
Yeah, the good thing for Soniqs, though, is that now Super can sit on drones and or spectate his players and do the leadership role from the grave. He doesn't have to focus on moving and shooting, so now full brain power activated mode for him. Grixer looking for the flank here. Good coordination from Soniqs. 1 inside a small tower, 1 dining hallway, sees the head, does some damage, get the injured, doesn't realize it's a second, but the LMG, you don't gotta stop shooting anytime soon.
And there you have it. They've at least isolated the mute in that corner. Nay was the one to get the kill on the Super, and you best know that they're going to want to avenge their teammate and keep their eyes trained on him. But the problem is that Soniqs don't have a numbers advantage, and now they've actually lost any equal footing. This Onigiri, who doesn't die early, is able to put up a point of his own. A second to him now from Kansan to die. Nay swings, but it's 2 players from the Soniqs still left upright. And Rexen gets kill number 7 for him.
Diffuser's Armory stairs, bomb site is top floor on Kit Storm, so this looks very funky, a little bit weird, but Rexen and Grixer both making their way to the same destination, but one player downstairs at a classroom, I believe. Yeah, Onigiri lets them slip right by. That means he can play for a flank later on. They think somebody's in Armory, but nope, there is not. The flank will be coming in soon, 25 seconds to go, and now you gotta make your move.
And here it's gonna come right through Trophy. You got the shotgun pointed blank right at the doorway of Attic on the ground. There goes a smoke from the Twitch, providing crucial utility. Banshee goes off. Rexen looks to the right, but no, the shotgun is there, and Sapper gets them both. 3 rounds in a row for Elevate as they now gain the lead on Oregon.
Yeah, Onigiri actually not choosing to flank the moment that they realized that both players of Soniqs were below that default Armory cam. He actually ran back to bomb site through the white stairs. He thought, you know what, if I'm going to be flanking and you guys die on site, well, I'm going to be flanking and retaking. I don't want to do that. So he made the safer choice after getting 2 kills for himself and went back in case that anything went wrong. He would be there on the white stairs to help his teammates. Of course, that wasn't the case. Sapper held down the fort, proning with a shotgun in hand from that Attic monster door. That's like something that we have. So for casting, Park, I'm curious. Attic, is that one callout or multiple? Because in competitive play, you got the attic drop, where you got the door leading to trophy and the rotating to kid storms. We call that monster, the dropping part, and the upper part leading to big tower where the hatch is, that is attic. Do you have a differentiation?
I mean, I think as casters, you often go for the full room rather than very specific callouts. I know teams especially prior to the yellow ping coming in, teams had hyper-specific callouts. Almost every corner of the room had a specific name for it because when you're giving those callouts to your teammates, you can't, on a map like Cafe, you can't just say piano. The piano portion of the map is enormous. You've got pixel, you've got couches, you've got the actual piano platform, you've got that little ticket booth, that small bar, you've got the red wall, you got the doorway leading into cigar. All of those areas can have somebody playing in them. As a team, you need to know exactly where the player is that you're going to go after. As a caster, there's a visual component, Nick. People can see that there's a player inside a piano. They don't need to know the nitty-gritty as to where somebody is standing all of the time. Now, it can help. Yep. But overall, that whole part of the map is attic. And a lot of times, if the compass at the bottom of your screen says attic, that's what we go off of. You can be a little bit more specific, but by and large, people get the general gist of it.
Interesting. Thank you for...
Not even for yourself, but for you at home, just in case you're curious. Any aspiring casters or people watching who want to know more of the inside baseball of casting, there you go.
No, I thought it was a good question to ask because there are really different ways to go about it. And of course, different casters as well, different duos, they can also be more specific or less specific. Just like some casters are more fast-paced and energetic, some are more strategical, or they have fun facts, or they have jokes perhaps. What we do here, well, we just talk about the game in front of us. Sometimes it's jokes, sometimes it's information. Try and do a bit of all of it because then we kind of get, all the dots covered. Speaking of dots covered, Yeti might have had a yellow ping or at least some sort of information. Amazing grenade, good damage, and that's Ney ratting off the board.
Ney also had a nitro cell on the ceiling of dorms. I don't know what it was there for. I don't know if he would fall off and then maybe hit it as somebody walked through the doorway, but for Ney, I guess you threw that nitro cell of it will have no real effect on this round. First pick goes in favor of the Soniqs. It's the same position Yeti was in before as he opens up the freezer hatch. He's in security. Sapper tosses out one toxic canister to get him off of the spot. There's only one remaining. This is not ideal timing. A single toxic canister with 90 seconds left. Not where you want to be on a basement defense.
No, and I mean, if you elevate right now, it's going to get hard. But again, this is a defender-sided map, right? Arguably, and the basement in particular, you need to really be able to do everything in your power to execute flawlessly. No matter if it's 5v4 or 5v3 as an attacker, you need everything to go your way. But Yeti, he finds another. This time, not with a grenade, but with the weapon himself. That's Sapper off the board. One toxic canister in the grave. Onigiri trades it right back.
And what a shot that is from Onigiri, but the Soniqs still have the advantage, and they can push towards the bomb site, pinch out, and flush the last remaining players of Elevate. Plenty of time for them to work with. 1 minute to go, just shy of that. Utility going in as well. Kansan with one of those Rotero drones already been successful to push that laundry component of the defense away. DCH trapped inside of Closet with Nerix and Onigiri in the back of the bomb site by Big Tower. 30 seconds left, and both of those players of Onigiri and Nerix will have to wade through the smoke. SQ want to ensure that Elevate are fighting blind. That's exactly why the Ying is in, and the last Candela will get tossed out as well. Diffuser needs to get planted by Super as the Soniqs wipe out the players from Elevate. It's on the shoulders of Onigiri, who now breaks even. But he's got one inside a freezer. The two remaining players from Soniqs, they can watch as that diffuser gets planted, and 45 seconds for Super to get out of there, with Onigiri now very, very far back. This first half certainly looking like a 3v3. Elevate a spirited effort. 3 rounds in a row, but it looks like it ends down in Laundry and Supply, and it does indeed, with Rexon having a tremendous start and an almost equally good exit. You talked about how this is a defender-sided map. The fact that the Soniqs on attack just took 3 rounds, that's not too bad, Nick.
Nice catch, Greg. So in the player cam, he dropped the the bottle to his water bottle. He grabbed it mid-air. Really nice reflection, or reflexes rather there. On that last round we just saw, something very interesting and very well done from Soniqs. Super was in the laundry stairs all alone. He tossed the Yinkandelas into that hole into the mirror window in small box that allowed Kansan to push up with Grixer and punch the mirror window, rendering it useless. And then they had the numbers advantage. They had previously won the gunfights, right? Yeti got the opening kill with the nade onto Ney, who was roaming up above. Then Yeti dropped the hatch or pushed down the stairs in freezer, got a second one. Then you set the tone, 4 versus 3, and then you use your utility to deny the most crucial position. DCH, playing inside a small box, could not see a thing for 30 seconds straight. Last 2 players from Elevate were back deep on the side, inside pillar area and B-bomb side. Really well done from Soniqs. They get the round, 3-3, tied up once again. No one really taking a convincing lead. Soniqs, it took the first 2 rounds. Elevate came back, 3 in a row, and then the third one went to Soniqs with a plant as well. We all saw what happened in the very first one. Rexen got the ace. If you guys didn't see this, you can go back a little bit, skip back, see the ace on that very first round. It's the very last like 30 seconds or so. Almost like a 1 versus 3, I believe. Then come back and watch the round. It's about to unfold in front of you.
I actually don't think Rexen got that one of those first picks in the last 2 rounds. I think it was actually Grixer who got the pick because Rexen's kills did not jump. There is some confusion from time to time where if you do most of the damage and then there's a down and it gets secured by somebody else, technically the other player will end up getting it for doing all of that damage so as to not aid and abet the kill stealers, so to speak.
Yeah, KS can mean 2 things. Kill secured or kill steal. And depending on who you ask, they'll have a very different take on it, because I will say you kill secured it, right? You're my friend. But when you're solo queuing, there are no friends in the lobby. It's all enemies.
KS can also mean your former teammate.
Yeah, Niklas Castria, I believe, being German. We played together back in the Pen days for a fair bit of time, actually. We played Go Force recently before I moved to Vegas, so good guy all around.
And he's a Pro League champion, not a world champion, though.
This again, Parker?
We don't need to start it. No, not at all. Very first attack for Elevate, very first defense for the Soniqs.
Oh.
Elevate loves this Dokkaebi pick. She brought out quite a bit on Villa. Same impact that we'll see on Oregon. Oregon, I think it's fair to say, more similarities to Villa than we'll see out of a map like Clubhouse. So if Elevate can find something here, the map that they know and loved of Villa, they're going to learn something from it and apply it to Oregon. But like we said, Oregon is a very comfortable pick for the Soniqs. A 7-8 scoreline on the first day against Empire for the Soniqs. 7-0 scoreline against Sandbox and 7-5 against M&M. If SQ beats Elevate here, then they will have a 2-0 record against APAC on this map and a 1-0 record, or 1-1 record against Europe. As well, we want to remind you that this is the upper bracket. So no matter what happens in this map, neither of these teams are going home. But one of them will move on to face Damwon Kia, the Korean team, and the other team will go down to the lower bracket to face the European team of Rogue.
So by winning, you're almost also losing. I'm not saying that you're guaranteed not to beat Damwon Kia, but they are looking as one of the scariest teams at this event, and they are an APAC team. I really hope that they can continue doing great, because it is a beautiful time now to see APAC finally getting the spot that they deserve. They've had a rough couple of years, but the last 6 months in particular, they are looking absolutely fierce and well worthy of being an invite.
Oh no, Super and having problems with Rotero drones in blue. Name a better combo. This was a problem that he had when Empire did this exact same strategy against them. And if you recall, there was a lengthy segment on the desk with both Jesse and Jacob extolling the virtues of not going AFK when a Rotero drone walks in or drives in. Grixer, the very first pick, onto Onigiri. There goes the Dokkaebi. A bit of a pause now from Elevate. We've seen Elevate have some struggles to find their footing, and with time ticking away, Rexen down for the count. Elevate have so much more to do. Super in this position. We called him a rat, but the nade goes off. Grixer with 2 kills, Super with 1 of his own. It's Nierix to die to Yeti, and the Soniqs regain the lead in this match.
Absolutely, that they do. Nicely held, but I mean, Elevate, the time was really slipping away, right? You push through blue with 15 seconds left. If you shift W at full speed, you'll barely make it to the bomb site alone. That's without the Banshees, the barbed wire, the enemies, the shields, the toxic babes, etc. That's just by sprinting. So you need more than that. You need more time, you need to clear more utility, you need to take more ground, and you gotta do it at least faster. Onigiri had has had a kind of rough Oregon so far. If Elevate has lost the opening player, let's say 6 times, I would argue or guess that Onigiri has fallen 4 of those 6 times. He's been the first victim of death a handful of times now, and we spoke on the very first map about the statistics of Elevate and how they have a lot of opening engagements, but they have low success rate. What that means is that very often you'll find the Elevate players, especially Ney and Onigiri, to be in the first combat of the round. But very often they also lose. And that is kind of what's happening right now where, well, Grixer, he found him twice in a row. The round we just saw, he was also the first player to fall. And it's happening time and time again. Onigiri in the arguably alright position, I suppose, but the wrong time and with no backup. Not trading 1-for-1, allowing Soniqs to get that 5 versus 4, get the man advantage, get the ground and get comfortable. And I think, if anything, right now, it's Elevate who has to kind of control the pace. I was worried that Elevate would do the same thing now as they did against TSM by running around the map and just taking crazy control. But it's actually Soniqs controlling the pace for most of this match. They found Ney on the lurk when they were on the attacking side, and now that Soniqs are in the defense, well, they can sit still and watch Elevate kind of crumble because time is running away from them. They're not acting fast enough, and Soniqs, they banned the Jackal, but they have not moved a muscle off the bomb side. Yeti is down below, but he's not even that far off. So I am curious, was the Jackal ban deliberate because you want to roam a lot, or just because it's a comfort pick for Elevate to move faster through the map?
I also think they like the gun a lot. When you put Nerix on that operator, he looks so confident. The C7E is a bit of a laser beam, Nick. Let's be completely frank here. I don't want to use the word crutch because I think there are definitely...
All right.
I don't know what happened to Rexen.
Nice shot.
I don't know what happened to Rexen.
Wait.
Or what's happening in chat.
They're thanking themselves and each other, but it's all Soniqs, I think.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what happened to Rexen after map 2, but this man has positively leveled up. Both Rexen and Grixer can often trade strengths on this team when it comes to killing, and while Grixer has a good game, Rexen might have a bad one. All of a sudden, it's Rexen to top the scoreboard. That level of skill on this SQ team and the flexibility again, and I know that we overuse the word flexibility quite often, but it really does apply here. The flexibility of this Soniqs roster is really what helps them be so good domestically and is now starting to pay dividends internationally.
I will say, though, from Elevate, like Nerix being able to flex onto so many different operators has been a crucial factor of their success at international play, especially earlier against Soniqs on Clubhouse. So while Soniqs have a flexible roster, so to speak, I do think that Nerix himself brings that same key element to his team of that of Elevate. But the one thing that Elevate isn't really bringing are their running shoes, because time, once again, is getting quite low. 45 seconds. I'll draw you guys a situation. We have Nerix in the big window, 2 players inside of Master, and Ney bottom white, but no, he's gone. 3 players left. It's 2 guys Master, 1 big window. You have almost no ground, and Saber is going to walk into the breach.
Every single map, Elevate struggles in the later round. That is their biggest weakness, and it looks like it's happening yet again, getting fed to the meat grinder. That is the Soniqs. Saber's just flashed himself, by the way. Onigiri with the only kill for his team, and right now it looks like that might be it, and it is indeed.
That doesn't mean that Elevate can talk with their coach and Soniqs can't. No. Joe, the coach of Soniqs, will also talk to his players while this is going on. And we see now Kansen 6ing onto Warden. Might be thinking, oh, last time the timeout came out, the Ying came on the board for Elevate, and they're fearing that that might be the case again, and they're respecting the possibility of Nerix being so flexible by just taking the Warden and saying, if the Ying is here, we're happy, and that's just our contingency. If you don't take it, it's fine. We got the MPX 1.5x, we got a shield, we still get a lot of utility from the operator alone outside the gadget.
They like the Warden as well. This isn't the first time that we're seeing it pop up in this match. Warden, obviously, an extraordinarily good counter against that level of play that comes in from operators like Ying and the smokes that are prevalent too. And both of these teams have been liking their smokes. Both of these teams have been liking their flashes, not just as utility burn, Nick, but to actually flash opponents.
Yeah, there was that flashbang change where if a flashbang is within 8 meters in game, it will blind you whether you're looking at it or not. If you do look away, the blind duration is reduced by up to, I think, about 50% or half or so. And if you're looking straight at it, well, duration lasts for the full exact time. That means flashbangs now are quite lethal. Not that they will kill you themselves, but that they will help you basically get killed. As you cannot see, you cannot fight back. Statistically for Oregon, we see meeting hall kitchen being picked 55% of the time, whereas kitchen dining, or sorry, not picked. The defensive win rate for kitchen meeting is 55, whereas on kitchen dining it's only 43. So statistically, a slightly weaker bomb site, but it's more niche, right? It speaks to a different kind of defense and a different kind of attack. But Elevate, attacking the same way that Soniqs did against their meeting setup. They'll be clearing up above, taking trophy, taking attic. I'm gonna try and take Kit Storms, clear out that generator area. Right now it's Nerix staring down this hallway.
Oh my, is that Yeti who's prone? Yes, he is. We talk about rats and look at what he has in his hand. He's got the shoddy, but his leg just gets spotted. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
They know.
They absolutely know, and there goes a grenade, it'll pop him up, and Yeti is as good as dead. If Elevate can stretch out to a good enough lead in the first half of the round, then their biggest issue as a team in this match, which is the final 30 seconds, doesn't become as important. Bit of a miss from Nay on that work with the blowtorch. There's Super playing above, and he could have been spotted, but unfortunately, not a good window right in. Nade in hand from Nay, and try to drop it onto Super. There it goes, but no damage is done. Super getting much closer. There goes a Nitro Cell, but Nerix shoots it out of the air. Well played by Elevate. Both of these teams using their secondary gadgets to no avail.
Yeah, and basically now we see a better time management from Elevate. Gets punished back by Grixer. We're back to a 4-4-man score. Nay off the board in the Maverick. It might not be the end of the world because you've done the job. You've cleared out top floor. Your heart breach is no longer needed. But just like Soniqs, they might struggle a little bit of verticality. They only have 3 Retero drones to do as much destruction as possible. But their focus seems to be from meeting. They'll have to clear out that jammer from up above. Surely a yellow ping and floor bang will come out. Because, honestly, 40 seconds left, this wall has to get open as fast as possible. That will allow you to plant and work your way through site. And of course, on the defensive side, there are no smokes, there are no C4s, so once you get comfortable on the plant, nothing can really stop you.
Well, there goes another Retero drone. Shotguns primed and ready. First time that we're seeing this bomb site, by the way, and there's only 20 seconds left. The problem that Elevate has on these attacks is there's no real sense of urgency, but like that, they pick off Grixer and they drop Super down for the count, but Rexon and Kansan are in too. Because Super's down, it's Rexon to clutch out. He's been so phenomenal. He has to find these 2 kills for his team, and he creeps up. Diffuser being planted, and there's the calls in the midst of the smoke, but there's one player unknown, and it's holding the angle of Nerix. Elevate, after their timeout, they close the gap. They haven't tied it up just yet, but they're getting closer and closer.
No information available from Rexon. They knew where the planter was. The yellow ping came out. Super's injured body was crawling around, trying to gather as much intel as possible so Rexon could make the right decision. He chose to sprint, which rarely is the right decision, to be fair, because you cannot fight back, whether it's a player on the hatch, inside of security, or in meeting itself. Round in favor of Elevate, they're showing the blitz. That is obviously an intimidation factor, because now the side of Soniqs will have to fear the rush. In case you guys don't know at home, there's a very common strategy that involves blitz, where when you defend the basement bomb site, you will spawn construction and just rush through that double door into blue, straight into elbow. We see it right here on your screen, and just annihilate any defender in this area. With this blitz being shown, now Soniqs, they have to be like, guys, this might be happening, it may not. Let's prepare for it. Let's have people in the right position, because if it does, we want to be able to answer back. It was a 6-pick. It is probably not going to happen. Onigiri went onto the O side. That's something that APAC has played a lot throughout this tournament, but we've seen it more from other regions as well. Earlier today, it was OXG that played it on Clubhouse themselves, and while it didn't really work or find much success, it's nice seeing more teams get comfortable and flexible on these new operators, because she's been out for a bit, but hasn't seen the most play until Invitationals. But then again, actually, I'm trying to think back. Was she allowed in stage 3?
Osa?
Yeah?
That's a very good question.
I don't remember.
I don't believe she was allowed in stage 3. I believe that she got opened up at the tail end of stage 3.
In that case, she's in a lot of play.
I mean, I think that's the case. I could be wrong, by the way, but obviously my timeline is not correct, if I am wrong, because Thorn just came out somewhat recently.
Yeah. So usually when a new operator comes out of Thorn, then the previous operator of Osa can be played. So you know what happened? I know what happened. I'm pretty sure that when stage 3 ended, that's when Osa could see play. But there was no stage 4. There's a gap between stage 3 and Invite, and I assume that's where she got loud, and then
if I remember correctly, and people are able to tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think the first opportunity that we saw with her was for the qualifiers.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So that was at the tail end of Stage 3. So we would have seen her for the qualifiers. I don't know if the regional finals would allow her to be played as well, whether they were played under those old Stage 3 rules or not. But we got to see her through the quals, as was talked about. And the one team that has absolutely loved her was CAG. They're not with us anymore. They got eliminated. They did not make it out of their group.
I always love putting you on the spot with these questions where it's like, oh, you ready for this? Yeti, are you ready for that? Nay, off the board. That is going to be, once again, the Maverick. Just like the previous round, you're going to be losing a bit of heart destruction. You lose some grenades. But Sapper has the backup of Thermite, but it's going to be limiting you on this basement attack.
Yet he's still roaming with that DMR in hand. The damage that can be done with a Rooney. A two-shot with that DMR to the body,
boom, boom.
You are as good as dead. The damage that these guns do is actually quite crazy, and it's funny to see all of these traditionally attacker-sided weapons, the attacker weapons, get given to the defense. The AUG on Wamai, the DMR on Aruni, the Spear on Thunderbird. These weapons being given to them, it just goes to show you how much damage the attacker weapons do. Super, again, having some difficulty inside of blue, and because of that, the Rotero drone gets maximum value.
Yep.
Blows open the shield inside of Elbow, and now the ADSs will go as well. This prompts Super to throw out those toxic canisters, maybe a bit earlier than he wanted. In terms of reinforcements, there's none left, so they can't... Oh, did I hear a reinforcement getting used on Elbow? Is that what I heard? Yes. So the last one was going up right as I was saying that. Elbow is now secured. Still, we have the Osa of Onigiri on this backstairs platform. Rexon will have to tussle, but there's a shield there to stop him. He sees it. This is going to be a tough spot. Gets baited out by the presence inside of blue. Elevate find 2 kills. Yet he answers back. He's got both of them with the Soniqs. All of a sudden, these teams are even. Elevate again struggling with the clock. 10 seconds to go. Super shotgun out. Onigiri off of this spot walking in. Osa drop from Super. He goes positive, and he's got a ping, but he doesn't need the kill. PMM in hand, but it's Super to seal the deal and send his team to match and series point.
Did you say Super goes positive during that kill?
I felt it was such an occasion that it needed to be called out in the midst of a gunfight.
Well, in that case, Super is not positive. Not just that, but +1. He also got the following kill, and there's something about Super when the rounds really matter showing up in this series. And I'll also say, reinforcing off that elbow position was crucial, right? You're limiting the amount of angles the attackers can come from, so they can only go into pillar, through the hallway on the double door, and the single door in Xbox or E-box or electric, whichever you want to call that room with the hatches to meeting, and that makes it so much easier to be a defender, especially when you have a shotgun on smoke. The biggest counters is Super, which I'm sure you guys are aware of at this point, are those Rotero drones from the Flores. There's just something about them where, like, maybe it's like the hertz that the sound waves are coming from that Super cannot hear. Maybe it's the color of the drone he cannot see. There's just something where they will always go by him and take out the elbow shield and the ADSs time and time again in 2 different matchups. It's been a very consistent factor, but it ultimately didn't matter. They prevailed the round, they clawed it back, and Super 6 and 5, Rexon 12 and 6 as well. Really, everyone but Kansen dropping massive amounts of kills. But Kansen, he hasn't had to do it because other people are doing it for him. Meanwhile, on Elevate, it's a pretty even shift for the most part. We got 9 and 8 and 7 up top, 4 DCH in the middle, and Nay down in the bottom on 2 kills. Nay and Onigiri. On the opening death situation, they've had a really rough game. Onigiri, however, also getting a lot of picks himself. But Nay on this Maverick hasn't found a ton of success, but Nerix will this time fall instead. Soniqs with opening kill after opening kill. It's Grixer this time around, and that'll be his 10th kill of Oregon.
Oh boy, 2 double digits now for the Soniqs. Yeti awfully close. In terms of kills, they really do tell a story, and that very first pick for the Soniqs is good. The conversion rate for first picks for the Soniqs has actually been quite strong here on this map. They've only lost 2 rounds where they've gotten that very first pick, and those came when they were on attack back in rounds 3 and 4.
Interesting. So that's actually a good step for Soniqs because we spoke of it earlier where they're extremely average to like convert the opening kill into a round. But in this particular situation, they've managed to successfully increase their conversion rate. What that means, like conversion rate, is that basically the percentage of time you will win a round after getting the opening kill, and it kind of speaks to how close you're playing together, and basically is how you can pull through rounds, right? How you can really make sure that you get the advantage and you keep it and you win the round. Whereas if you have a really bad conversion rate, well, you will get the opening kill, that's great, but then you'll lose 5 against 4, not so great. So good job, Soniqs. A statistical fact that will keep increasing. DCH now trying to get something for his money. The ping comes out red and yellow, but Yeti, he doesn't need either. He'll just get the headshot.
An elevator struggling on the entry. You can't struggle in the final 30 seconds if you don't get there. You know, this is some giga brain stuff, Nick. More from Yeti, as it's Nay to be chunked away. Yeti inside of that mess hall portion of the map. The last 2 players from Elevate are above, only a doorway away from getting into the bomb site. A Dorm's defense where most of this push from Elevate has occurred on the bottom floor. And why? Because they've been trying in vain to get Yeti off of his position. The more time that Yeti wastes, the better. And now he's broken double digits as well. Soniqs have had no problem out-dueling their opponents. There goes Onigiri, Kansan down, secured, so no flawless, but a flawless isn't needed. You just have to catch Sapper and Nay when they aren't looking, and that's it for this matchup. The Soniqs know what needs to be done, and with 30 seconds left, they're using utility. Smoke's going out, covering top of white stairs, covering inside a trophy. Nay so low on HP, you can sneeze on him and take him out, but instead it's Grixer with the spear to do that. A double kill for him. Sapper knows that with 20 seconds left, Elevate are down in the lower brackets. The Soniqs might have had a rough start to the series, but they dig deep and find a 5th gear that they didn't know that they had. Impressive stuff from the defending North American League champions. And finally, an NA team is